All right, good morning and welcome to Mono. Shout out to Guy. I was listening to Guy. Goodbye, love. This morning. Goodbye, love. That's what it is. Good morning, Glib. Shout out to the DU recorders. Oh, I'm doing bad these days. They ain't even coming. All right. I'm not really doing bad. I'm doing good. Thank goodness. I'm finally at a place where I can feel like I'm feeling good all of a sudden. Darn, that delay is serious. I hate when I see this thing and I know it has a delay. Anywho's, where are we? Okay. Mondays, I like to do something that I call Monday morning quarterbacking. Normally, I take an event and I discuss it from the advantage point of it already happened, and I am now second guessing what should have happened or giving alternatives to what did happen. So I've decided this morning to do my Monday morning quarterbacking on focused on yesterday's live stream because some commentary came from it. I don't think I could link you to. Oh Jesus! I'm gonna link you to some videos that I saw, and I'm gonna preference this with everybody has their own platform here, or they have the ability. If you create a YouTube account, you have the ability to go live and discuss topics that you want to discuss. You can be and should be, or you will be deemed as soon as you do that as being a content creator. Or the bottom line is you have the ability to do it. Everybody has the ability to take. If you are watching me now, then you have the ability to go in this free app and create your own reactions, responses, or your own content that you want to put out here. We all have that ability. Me and my capacity, I'm utilizing the platform and I am meeting the needs of my audience. I have identified who my audience are. Members of my audience, I KYA, know your audience. I know my audience and I am meeting their needs. And my audience watches channels like John Frank, Karen King. Glib, I don't know if my audience watches you. But I got so many people from your community that I will say that I have some audience members that watch Glib Talk. So basically, knowing my audience, I'm giving my audience the content that they want to hear. So if anybody feels a certain kind of way in a negative about my content, please know that you are a member of my community when you come over here. And as a member of my community, you seek and respect the fact that I am going to give you the content that you demand. Now, in that same vanity of giving you the content that you demand, doesn't mean you're going to like what I say. This is not a dictatorship. You are not, I don't have people that I call my people. I don't have people that I am in control of, that they must see things the way I see things. I don't run a dictatorship here. I have effectively worked on separating my personal life from the stream, which means that I'm live, but I'm trying not to have interpersonal relationships outside of the live environment. And I find that to be extremely critical at this moment, because it gives me a separation between what I can put out here as my true thought and how I feel, opposed to being politically correct in how I approach people's personal feelings to what I'm saying. So we are at a point in my journey that I'm no longer fixated on being politically correct for the masses, for the constituency, which is the audience. Now, I call you guys a constituency here. My language here is going to be different than the language in other places. So if you don't understand a term, I suggest you get your dictionaries and read. Look up the word, maybe write in my comments and ask me what I meant by a phrase, and I will reinforce its meaning, because I have jargon that is specific to my channel that may mean something else somewhere else, but I have used it and I have defined it. And if you listen to my video in its entirety, you would probably find out what that language is that I modified, or what my meaning of, or the context in which I'm using something in, so that there would be no misunderstandings. But people around here are snippeting, taking snips of people's content and sending it out to others. Those people, if you have people reporting to you events that are going on in the YouTube space, some people call them snitches, right? I'm a little bit more sophisticated over here. I call those people personal informants. Informants, people that bring you information. They're informing you of something. And I've dubbed them either, and I use these interchangeably, confidential informants, personal informants. The bottom line is, they're people that bring you information that's for you to utilize. In this space, I have caught many replays or listened to people recount what happened, recall a story, retell a story. And they will retell it from the vantage point of where they got their information from. If they saw something, they may give you the emotional aspect of what they saw. If they received something from an outside source and it's not something they saw in its entirety, they will get the context of it wrong. Point in case, there was an event recently wherein Karen's perspective had a guest on her panel, and the guest and her had a discussion about a specific topic. And it involved 3 numbers, 6, 6, and 6. But it was on Karen's platform that took place. When someone regurgitated the information, it was obvious to me they received it from an outside source, because they said Karen's perspective was on that man's platform, who was the guest on Karen's platform. So they reversed it, basically because they just saw Karen and the guy talking and assumed, making an ass out of you and me, they assumed that she was on his platform. But that's not the facts of the case. And that's not where the statement was made. And at the end of the day, I went back and I watched both videos so I can, for myself, determine where it was stated at, because I know where I thought I saw it. So then I said, well, maybe the person said it over here, so let me go check over there. The bottom line is, that's how you know that the informant provided some information that the recipient received and didn't process either the way the informant gave it to them, or they processed it that way, but they did not have the information firsthand. When you don't have the information firsthand, what I do, I don't give a damn what the rest of y'all do on this internet. I normally preference my commentary to say, this is based on such and such. My information is subject to change if where I get it from changes. The source changes. I get more information, more background, #background. My opinions that came from a certain situation may change based on the information I received. So every time I speak, I'm speaking based on the information that I have before me. And if that information should change, if the source of the information changes, I will change perhaps my approach. If my approach is talking about the character that you are in that storyline, and I deem it appropriate to change character, I'll make it known because it will be evident. Today's broadcast is a continuation of my discussion from yesterday, but only as it relates to the J4K virtual community. The issues arising from which are interconnected. I am saying that there are people here that remind me clearly of doing things that are evil. I can't put it anywhere else. They're agents of Satan, in my view. And I am preparing myself to fight the agents of Satan. And I'm going to put out a series about it. But in this discussion, I need to first identify issues that have made this prevalent for me. So yesterday's worship was about surviving the view. And I put the edit out the day before. The last stream before it, I explained and others. That's what edit out is, and others. So the focal point of my surviving the view, right? And you know who the view lady is. That's Psycho with the bird's eye view of the cemetery. I spoke on an incident that arose where she received some emails, or she was receiving information from another content creator. And in that information she received, it exposed some of the source, or maybe one source of the information that he received, that he forwarded to her accidentally, because obviously a person didn't want to out their source. So that was an accident. And I was very clear on here. And I don't understand how this got all miscombobulated. But let me break it down for the people in the slow seats that need to be sliced slowly, like that woman did with precision, like that woman did over there. Because at the point yesterday, I had not heard her video. And I'm going to say this. I only heard her video as it was played on Joy's video last night. So as it was played on Joy's video last night. So I got some more context around this stuff. Okay, so here we are. And what I said is simple. I said, no, let's bunk what I said. Let me go with what I'm saying right now. If somebody provided Psycho with the bird's eye view to the cemetery with some information, that contained another person's identity, a person that I would refer to as a confidential informant or a personal informant to another channel holder. That person is in danger of being doxxed if he or she has not already been doxxed. And the probability side of things is that she's already been doxxed, because why would you put out the information that you have the information if you haven't already done something with it? It would prepare the other side or the person to protect themselves if they have not already protected themselves. They will arm themselves with protection, which they should at this point, because it's a serious thing. What I was pointing out yesterday is that the easiest way to attack a content creator is by attacking the content creator's supporters, their audience, the people around them. And most of the time when I've had to take personal stop on stuff that I was doing, it's because I was concerned about the people around me becoming collateral damage. Now, I said clearly on my live, but maybe it wasn't clear enough because people were confused by my statement. Psycho, with the bird's eye view of the cemetery. Realizing, and these are my opinions based on the behaviors that I've seen here, said to herself, wow, I got this information. If I want to use this information, everybody's going to know I got the information. So the best thing for me to do is to say publicly, I'm also sharing this information with XYZ. And if I say I shared it with XYZ, and then the information gets weaponized against the confidential informant, weaponized, look it up. It's easy. It's when somebody turns on somebody, they use it as a weapon. If it gets weaponized against the confidential informant, they will spin their heels trying to figure out which one of us did it. That's what we've seen around here. That's basically what I was saying yesterday. And I was also further saying anybody that's affiliated or associated with that confidential informant, you should now be concerned, because if you're on, and I'm just going to break it down, if you're on Facebook with the person and they've already got their information, they're searching for you too. That's what I said. And I'm sorry if it offended people and it made people upset, but I was giving you the warning that as a content creator, we all know what that looks like and what that feels like. But as subscribers, you should not be subject to that treatment, but the people will give you that business. It's unfortunate. That's what they do around here. That's the community that's developed. That's what the K4J community is all about. It is about some kind of internal conflict that keeps us fighting, and it keeps doing the things that it's doing. It's this abusive behavior around here that should not be acceptable, but it is acceptable. Now, if you listen to people who have traveled outside of this section, they will tell you, oh, this happens all over the YouTube. Interesting. I got some Caucasian channel coming through my feed, and they was doing something similar to this, exposing somebody. And I'm sorry, the conversation just seemed a little bit different. I didn't get all into it. I don't know why it's in my feed, but I left it there to go back and watch later to do some compare and contrast. So more to come on that. Of course, I did not see all of Psychos with the bird's eye view of the cemeteries video on you folks, because I was only listening to it from whatever Joy played over there in her camp. Yes, I went in her room. Yes, I spoke in the chat because there was something that was said about me on the platform that I wanted to make clear what I said. Which led me to understand that I needed to make a correction or come back out here and Monday morning quarterback so that there would be clarity on what I was saying. So I don't know if emails were then sent to her, but I was just telling her to be careful of being a recipient of that information because it's built on for a bigger setup. And everybody will look at Joy first because they'll say, oh, Joy was the person that these emails were about, etc., etc., etc. The only question I really had about the emails, I mean, honestly, is what was the date? Not the date emails was transferred to people, right? Because Joy was breaking down July, the most recent emails, what he was sending to her, right? Her being Psycho with the bird's eye view of the cemetery, what he was sending to her in the but when were those emails? Because according to him, they're old shit from so many years back that he just went into something called Google and pulled them all out of his gallery and sent them based on dates for him. So they might be dates that were like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when they first were disputing with each other. And then, of course, whatever is related to the co-host over there, it probably would be within the last year information on him or updated information on her. I don't know. That would have been the only thing that was of interest to me, but not that interesting that I needed to really pose the question because I don't really care. I think it is a terrible strategy and plan here when people go after the subscribers. I don't agree with going after the subscribers. But what this does show you is that it's the subscribers who keep the shit going. I'm so sorry. Because most of the information has to be coming from somewhere. And I wasn't sure that these content creators all have the resources to do that footwork themselves. They have teams in place that do that footwork. And that's what we are seeing play itself out. I answered some questions in relations to this, and I've been asked to not speak on it. I just honestly feel like this is an example of when your relationship with somebody should stand supreme. If they said to you, yo, I prefer you not to speak on this, and then you respect that and you don't speak on it. I have to speak on this to Monday morning quarterback yesterday. Okay. This is not the same situation as asking me to fall on my sword and collaborate or agree to. So what was being asked of me weeks ago was, Monica, don't speak on so-and-so on your platform, la 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 la, on the strength of me. And they not going to speak on you on their thing on the strength of me. And I was just saying, your hand doesn't call for that. This is not an opportunity where you get to ask me that honestly without me giving you an honest no. And that's what I had to put out, because at the end of the day, I was being asked to compromise my own personal beliefs for somebody else's. The answer was a big negative. And the outcome of that couple days later is what happened. But I want to make it abundantly clear. There were a few things that set that woman up against y'all. And I want to reinforce what they were again. Psycho with the bird's eye view of the cemetery. 1. Had a game plan to get to 1,000. And she needed to corroborate with people that would help her get there, with views or what have you, whatever it is. Now, one content creator can easily say, oh, you are the platform of contention. You're the one that's going to get all the views. You can butter somebody up. But the bottom line is the channel had been here for months at 800. All of you know this, where it was at. The series that went in on the couple getting a divorce. The wedding didn't make the channel gain anymore. The wedding that took place nearly a year ago did not make the channel gain 1,000 subscribers, right? The stuff that was happening throughout this time didn't get the person monetized, because it's not the 1,000 subscribers. It's the notion of getting monetized, right? There's a combination. You need the 1,000 and then you need the viewable minutes. They go hand in hand. So she needed to be on your platforms when she was at your beck and call. You guys got two. Y'all was like the rabbit and the hare. If you remember that story, that's when the rabbit was running around thinking he was fat. The rabbit and the, wait a minute, it's the hare. I said the rabbit and the hare when that's the same thing, right? So it's the hare and the tortoise, or it's the rabbit and the turtle, however you look at the story. So the hare and the tortoise. The tortoise is this little turtle. He moves very slowly, and the hare is the rabbit, and he moves very fast, and they're in a race. And the rabbit is like, yo, I'm gonna win the race, blah 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 blah, because I'm faster, I'm witty, you know, all that other stuff, right? And then at the end of the day, the tortoise wins because he kept at his pace and he did the things that he was supposed to do at that time, and stayed the course. That's all she did. She stayed the course with you guys. She sat up there on y'all platforms, but y'all tried to play her in the process. That $5.72 bet that had her up there with Karen's perspective was not a good look for y'all. People don't want to admit they're wrong. They're wrong. That was like an ultimate disrespect. That was the ultimate disrespect. You hear her come out and say, the next time I sit on somebody's panel, they're going to pay me, right? Because I said in 2-3 videos ago, right? Her personality has her, she can accept humiliation for pay. And you see it in the video that they played over there in Joy's, in the spoiled meat division over there, when they played the video of her being humiliated by when she's I don't even know what to call this, because she's speaking to another channel holder's up here's daughter on the phone, and the daughter is giving her the business, and she didn't even care that the daughter gave her the business on that call, because she aired the call anyway, because it was for the view. She needed the view. that was going to bring people over there. It didn't matter if it made her look bad, if she looked bad during the interview or the conversation with the person's daughter, if the person's daughter dissed her or anything. She didn't really care because she was getting the view. Everything was back down to getting the view. And what y'all did on the platform with her and Karen's perspective was humiliating, in my personal opinion. It was humiliating to both women. And I came here and I said so. But y'all seem to have been on a roll that night. And that's about it. But I don't have control over how people run their platform. I can only just tell you that I could see the humiliation for both women as the two men laughed about that situation for $5.72. Like, who won't leave? And she ended up leaving the platform because $5.72 wasn't enough for either woman to stay, unless there was a principle at play. And I think Karen stayed up there, and this is my opinion, and it may differentiate from what Karen has to say, but this is my opinion of what I observed. She probably stayed up there to not soil the channel holder's reputation at that moment, not because of the 572, but just to make sure that he won. But that was a weird exchange for me to watch. And that's when I was saying to myself, oh, I am so glad that I am not going to fall on my position, that it's not on the strength of anybody. Sometimes when you get carried away in these challenges, or what they call fame. In the movie Fame, she said fame is going to cost. If you want fame, it's going to cost, right? That's what happens. That's the price of fame around here. It can cost you your humility. It can cost you your reputation. You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to give up for the fame that I want to have? And that's what I see go on around here sometimes. People compromise their personal beliefs because they want to fit in with the people at large. I believe that if you stand on your personal beliefs, if you don't immediately get the respect of the people at large, you eventually will, because you stood for something. Please get my likes up. That you stood for something. Not that you fell for anything. Imagine and I've been involved in a lot of situations around here where I have compromised my personal beliefs just to support folks here. And I've been very cautious how I compromise my beliefs for folks around here. Because core values I can't relinquish. And that's it. And I respect those that respect that. And I understand if I made a decision to go against somebody else's wishes, that at some point they would not want to mess with me any further. And I really understand that. And I think it's a correct approach to have. If you feel like you can't trust somebody, then you should not spend that time with that somebody. That's where we are at today in this in this scenario. So my video from yesterday just basically was bringing to light being scared for people that pass along the information. I have personal informants around me, and I value them. And I would hate to accidentally expose them. So I generally, I hate to put them in positions like that, but there are some people that I will reach out to and say, could you watch something that I think is negative? And I used to put my brother from another mother in this situation all the time. I don't do it these days, but in that second season of being here, I really challenged our relationship because I had him go listen to stuff, and then I will never forget this, right? I asked him to go listen to a false and silence video because I refused to listen to it. And he contacted me and he gave me his assessment of the video. And one of the most damning things he said to me is, somebody close to you, Monica, is also close to him. And they are giving him access to you. And I was like, there's nobody close to me that would be doing something like that. Like, there's nobody would be doing that. Later on, months later, when we get to season 3, really, I find out who that person is. And it was disheartening to me because I had to find out who that person was. And they were extremely close to me. And not only that, but you had people that were not close to me telling me, you need to trim your grass. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And they came out. But no one knew the source, who the person was. But everybody was saying it. And I was failing to take heed to it. I'm fine, EB, I'm fine. I was failing to take heed to it. But the signs were all there. It wasn't until I caught the person personally in an inconsistent statement that I realized what they were doing. And to this day, I will not engage with that person because they're not a person I could trust around me anymore. And that was a really bad event for me because it woke me up to the levels of you have to be conscious and aware of the things that you are doing on here. And you have to be conscious and aware of the people around you. And I often look back at videos when I'm with the person and I try to view the relationship from the perspective of I had a good time when I was with them. It was a good moment riding with them. But when that ride was over, that ride was over. And that's about it. I know there's going to be some more fallout between this stuff, but I don't dox people. I don't have a team to dox people. That's not what I came here to do. I came here to do the things that I wanted to do for the empowerment of women. I believe that my focus coming back from COVID exposure has been more narrow to that, which is why I gave y'all my perspective on how I see things in this situation as it impacts the female. I'm not really giving you my thoughts on how it impacts the man, because I believe that man has in his capability to always manipulate woman. So that's just, par for the course. They can string you along, make you believe that life is going to be all a box of cherries, and then it turns out to just be, rotten fruit down the line. But in any event, that's it. There's another video. Karen's video from yesterday was opined or was part of commentary, extensive commentary from John Frank last night. I don't know if that video still stands, but I have to go back and watch Karen's video because I must have missed. I'm going to need to put Moan Knows on my calendar at work so that I won't have to take calls. Or you just got to go into replay. At the end of the day, I'm going to have to go back and watch Karen's video. Here's some food for thought, though. Because she did ask me a question yesterday about something I said. And I want to... I guess I'm going to say reinforce what I said, but not make it seem as if it was directed at her. Yesterday I spoke, so this is part of Monday morning quarterbacking. Yesterday I spoke on people attacking folks here, content creators, going after other content creators. Like myself, who are visible to you. The only time I'm in avatar, and it's by choice these days, is when I go on somebody else's platform. I don't want to cam up on other people's platform. The reason why I don't want to cam up on other people's platform is because I don't have rights to how they use my image after I'm off of their platform. So rather than have my physical face up there on somebody else's platform, on somebody else's messaging that I have no control over and I can't protect my brand, I put my brand at, and you guys can take it how you want about your brand, I put my brand in jeopardy when I have my face on their stuff. So I do it strictly under avatar, and that's been I've been working under that rule since for a while now. And you can blame that on Nicola, because she has a video where we get into it with Myron. This is the vitamin A, how the vitamin A. And I'm sitting there at the end of the video on the avatar walking down the street. So I look like, I don't like the picture at all. I can't make her take it down. I can't make her modify it. There's nothing I can do to that video because it belongs to her to make it an image. So this is something that when you have, when you get big in this and you become a famous YouTuber, you might be able to do something with branding on that level. But to protect myself, I only go on avatar. But channels argue with you and they're avatar all the time, right? It never rains in Southern California. I never really see that person out of Avatar when they allegedly talking all this crap about me, right? When they putting up videos and they showing my neck and got like a picture of my neck on her community wall, or she's zeroing in on my tooth and stuff like that. Like, I have no control of those things, and those are the things that they extract from my live appearance. You will know that Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. You will know that he created a GoFundMe page to fund for dental work, $4,000. And sir, I will tell you right now, the dental work is more expensive, as I thought then, than $4,000. So he went and created a GoFundMe page from the very video that I was making a rap song about him. I just made some corny rap song in the morning because he had made videos about me all night long. I think that was the day he made the video about my son. Then I responded. He didn't just make a video about my son. He made a PowerPoint presentation. I never heard of people doing such craziness, but he did. He made a PowerPoint presentation that was presented to me. I came back and I made a song. Oh, baby, you don't got what I need. Remember that song? Yeah, so I made that song up, right? And he then took and made a GoFundMe from what I was wearing that day on that video. He made a GoFundMe. Can't do with anything with the branding, right? But I did shut down his GoFundMe page, right? Whatever his name is, Jonas. I don't know what it was. But he came here and then showed y'all he did it. Like, it was absolutely crazy. And it was also absolutely crazy that he had a whole Facebook page that was under some other dude's name, looking like a Spanish dude. Some other dude's name and stuff. But the bottom line is he made video. He made a video, and that's all when your image is out there. And what I was saying yesterday is that that's what the people do. When you put your image out here, they try to destroy it. And most of the time, the people that are trying to destroy you are avatars. They're not here live streaming in their own face. They are live streaming under an avatar because for some reason I feel they've got something to hide, so they don't do it. That's my opinion of what is going on. So from Karen's perspective, because I said good life, it may have looked as if I was saying something specific to her, when I was basically saying it's all these people repping all these different kind of status quos in their life. But you can't verify that because they are on Avatar. I have had people send me pictures of people here and say, yo, why you didn't tell me this person was a midget? Why you like I'm like, what? How would I know? They not my friend off of here. I don't know what they look like in real life. I seen them like you seen them. How you get that picture? So it's stuff like that. Yeah, that really happened to me recently. Somebody sent me a picture and was like, why you ain't tell me this lady was a shorty? I was like, I have no idea. I never seen her before. It's crazy. So that's my take on folks that are not here in their person show on cam. They don't cam up, and I feel that the majority don't cam up because they have something they don't want somebody else to critique them about. Hear what I'm saying. They have something about their character that they don't want somebody to critique them about. So if you were to say to me, I don't go on cam because I got this big mole on my face, that would be the reason why you don't go on cam. So any behavior that you don't want them making fun of prevents you from going on camera in that, or doing that, or whatever. Maybe if you cover up that you'll go on cam, then at that point. But to just go on cam, I come because this is my channel. I've chosen to come here in my natural. You know, there are times when I did my face mask. There are times when I put on my makeup. There are times when I just put on my lipstick. But I'm comfortable in the skin that I'm in. That's why I come up here. Everyone's not comfortable in the skin that they're in, so they don't come up here in their on cam. But I also find that most of the people that talk junk about other people who are not on cam is because they would criticize the person. They know, and that was what I was saying. They know what they would say about their own self if they were reviewing their own self. And they don't want somebody to do that to them. All right, so the other part of Karen's video was the part wherein she states something like John Frank chose The View over Mo, but Mo is going to stand up for him because she's got some kind of loyalty. I don't think she said loyalty, but let me just explain that a little bit clearer for folks. I root for the underdog a lot. So I take it how I see it. The situation that John finds himself in currently was created by John. And for good or bad, I may understand, or at least I thought I understood, why he was trafficking The View. Because I don't know what else to say about it. But I believe that that's part of his personality, right? I heard him encouraging Coleman on what kind of content she should make on her channel based on how she approaches questions and answers, right? So I see him as always finding himself being useful to people. I just think he called it wrong in that situation, and anybody with bifocals, Mr. Magoo, could see that train wreck coming to an end. But it's an experience he had to deal with. It's something he had to deal with. And you know, that's just it. So me coming out here saying he's from New York, we're from the same area, I feel it's the same as what he was saying on that platform, the rebroadcast video that everyone was contacting me about, that obviously was a rebroadcast video, and people thought it was a current video because it was being aired over there, that she had a panel with Smedium, Humpty Dumpty, and John Frank. So he said on that platform, we're from New York. People misunderstand us all the time. And I agree with him. I think we're misunderstood. I think when you come from this area, we're misunderstood about our politics. We're misunderstood about our uh, unbiased for the nationalities or the relations. Um, doesn't mean that some of us don't believe in black first. Um, I think that there are issues. I would have to, and I told him I would have done this before, but I never had an opportunity. I know who I want to ask, but I didn't want to ask the person on a live stream just in case it came back negative. I didn't want to put that out there, but I wanted to write somebody to ask them if you have. See, I was brought up with this perspective. I am what my mother was. So my mother is Puerto Rican. My mother was Puerto Rican. My grandmother's Puerto Rican. My grandfather on my mother's side, they're Puerto Rican. We are Puerto Ricans in this house. Okay? My father is black. So I am a black Puerto Rican. But when you ask me who I am, I'm Puerto Rican. On the things, I'm Puerto Rican. Latina is what I put down there all the time. You see my son is listed as Hispanic. That's what we are. We are what, in my household, we go by what the mama is. So I don't know where Italians fall in, right? I don't see Italians as white people. I see them as Italians. So I've never classified them as white people. But because New York is a melting pot, you could have integrated or integration. So it is not uncommon. I don't know. And to be quite honest, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans do not always get along. It's not this robust relationship. Most times they do, but many times they don't. So I don't know what they are called. So I don't know if they're white people. I don't know, because personally I didn't grow up really understanding that. So I would have to go to somebody that would tell you who you are based on which parent, right? The only other person that probably could opine on something like this probably would have been the K, to say you are this or that. That would be like another, that would have been like another person, but I haven't spoken to her and I don't speak to her as frequently as I used to since her and Karen had the fallout on the platform. I don't really speak to her as much. I have spoken to her and she has been in here, but I haven't spoken to her where I remember to ask a question about the Italian thing, right? So, and I told him a long time ago, I said I will find out about that and get back to you on it, and I hadn't. And it's something that I would like to close out in that relationship, just finding that answer for myself. Nothing to do with him. Because when I saw, and I was finishing watching the other video where Rocket and them was up there, and they're speaking, and they're like, basically they're saying they see John as a minority. And the lady that got on the platform is right. In New York, everyone uses the N-word, and no one's posting up to fight somebody over the N-word that I'm aware of out here. I've yet to see killings over the N-word in New York. It'd be over some other stuff, but not over the N-words. Like, I don't see that. But in places where you have racist what is those people? WS. Where you have WS people, you will find tensions with these words and stuff. So in those kind of areas, or in those states, especially when you go further down south, where racism is prevalent or still a problem, these things are issues. And I believe that to be the case. And I believe that some of the people that are angered or disgruntled with John come from places or from backgrounds and family upbringings where there is still a focus on being discriminated against by WS or Caucasians that are extreme and not flexible in their thought processes about interracial relationships. And that's it. I also think John was making a good point about the bias. And, I don't know where he was going with it, but I will say this about teachers, and this was one of my biggest, if I was to have a child today, it would be one of my biggest reasons to homeschool, is because of the influence that the school teacher has on your child, because they spend 6 hours a day inside the classroom with them, and their perception of life is transferred to your child in the education they provide. This did not become an issue to me until I sat on the Community Education Council here, the position I was elected to, in New York, and I came across a teacher who was a parent at the time. And New York Bloomberg was undergoing some changes in his structure. And what Bloomberg was doing was he was closing down. He looked at the school system as a business. Like, how when you work in an office building and there are several different companies inside the same building? That's how he looked at the school structure. And he said, okay, so you have this school, Martin Luther King High School, and it's got all these kids go to this school, Martin Luther King High School. But if we was to break this up into 4 different campuses and put 4 different schools in there, we would be effectively providing a smaller class size for the students, because we would cap each school at 500, but we would still have 2,000 students inside the building, but each school would be tailored. Each class, each grade would have 125 students in it, and they would be getting tailored education to that need. So when he did that, many parents and students at the time attending those schools was against it, because he was closing big alma maters. Like here in Queens, we had Jamaica High School. That was one of the schools on the list. August Martin High School, that was one of the schools on the list. I went to August Martin for a piece of time. My daughter went to August Martin for a piece of time before I took her out of there, because the quality of education had ceased. So I met this parent who was a school. So his child was in one of our high performing schools, which is Townsend Harris High School in Queens, right? One of the most high, it is up there with the Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, because we got three high schools that are specialized high schools. So Townsend Harris is really the Queens best school for all Queens kids to go to, right? Townsend Harris. I'm going to say at that time, I don't know what its status is today, but I'm going to go back into my time when I met this man. So his child attends that school, and he was a school teacher in a school in Far Rockaway, Beach Channel. And Beach Channel was on the cutting block. for this breaking it down into 4 schools, whatever. And they were saying that the quality of education there was not fair. It was not free and appropriate for our students anymore, right? So I attended, because I was on the board, I had to attend the hearings where parents and teachers were in the facilities impacted by the change were allowed to come and speak. And they had 2 minutes on the podium, and we had to sit there and listen to them. I had done my own due diligence in each of the schools, and the only school that I stood up for not closing was Jamaica High School, because I found Jamaica to be a different resource, different funding. They had a lot of support from the community that surrounded it. It was a lot of reasons why I felt that Jamaica High School being closed opened my eyes to this being a business structure, that they just wanted to close down the schools because they wanted to put 4 schools in there and it was more financially feasible. It had nothing to do with education when it came down to that school. And they had put an educator, they had taken at Jamaica High School, they had taken an average Joe dude who was this security czar in the Board of Ed, and he rose to the level of being the principal at that school. And because he was in charge of security, right, that's what those kids needed. When he became the principal of the school, he reminded me of Joe Brown from maybe I got Joe Brown wrong, but the principal from Lean On Me in that case. And he had done the business, knowing the kids' names, interacting with them. It was a pleasure walking into his building. Plus, I knew him in a different capacity. So I was really saddened by their thing, and I did speak at the hearing on their behalf. But other schools I did not. I did mostly listening and encouraging people to get their kids out of the damn school. I'm not waiting for a school to phase out, close down, whatever. I'm taking my kids. Where are we going next? We take my problem somewhere else. Anyway, this man, being a teacher in that school, was outrageous. He was the UFT chapter leader in that school. So on that particular night, I've interacted with him in 3 capacities: being a parent somewhere else, so he's my constituent. I'm on the board with him in another capacity, and last but not least, now he's the UFT representative, and we're on a dais together for this event. And this man is rowdy, obnoxious. He's everything that you don't want to be. And I asked him a simple question: what goes on in your classroom? So one of the kids gets up to speak, and they was like, he's abusive in the classroom, Miss Monica. He has spit on children, So the kids, right, that should be fighting to close down a school are getting up there to say, we've got teachers that don't give a damn about us educating us, right? Come to find out, a couple of days later, hit the news, they got a video. The kids recorded him, and he spit on a kid, and it went viral inside the school system, and it went viral on the media or what have you, and he got suspended from the thing. So he got suspended from teaching. He was put in New York City. I don't know if they have these now. They had detention centers for teachers, and he was in a detention center. And as being my constituent, because he's also a parent, he drove me crazy. He was one of the cases that made me want to walk away from advocating for parents, because that was my role, advocating for parents. But I was limited in the advocation, what I can advocate for him, because at the end of the day, he was a school teacher who abused our kids. He was a parent in this other building, and I had to work with him in the other case. But the situation with the kids, I worked with them and wanted him removed, and attended anything and everything I could participate in that led to him no longer being in the classroom. So why am I saying all of this? You can wear many hats in a relationship that you have with a person, but you have to treat them accordingly in each capacity. When this man, and I had to engage him about things that were going on in his child's school, I had to work with him to make those things a reality for him. When I had to work with against him in the school that he worked in for the benefit of the children that attended that school, I did that in that capacity. At the end of my term, he was one of the parents that stood up in the farewell speeches and said he would miss me for my fair and biased approach. I never mixed the two. I treated him with the utmost respect in both capacities. That's what I bring to this YouTube. I can't be me if I can't be honest on here. And I know most of y'all don't understand what honesty is because y'all dip and dabbing in stuff. You're not honest with yourself. So when I give you my opinion on something, it is just that. It is just my opinion. It's not based on somebody else's feedback. You don't have to appreciate it. You can make any videos that you want to counter it. It's called content. You can put out any content that you want against a principle that I represent. What you shouldn't do is make it personal. This is not personal to me. This is professional. So if I say to you that I believe that a cohort here called a subscriber is now in jeopardy, I'm not saying it to cause problem. I'm saying it to tell people to man up, protect yourself, guard your grill, get your armor out. The enemy is coming. They're rising up against you. But some of you have brought this on yourselves. Y'all sit in these back chat rooms and y'all plot against other people. And you do it in, they use this word called clandestine environments. And there's going to be a time when the stuff you do in the dark shall come to light. And when that happens, you should have already covered yourself. And if you didn't, shame on you. What have we learned? In the days of Brother Malcolm, one of the most disturbing things that I discovered here on the YouTube was that if you got rid of somebody, and this is the only person that's having a problem with this right now is Tommy Sotomayor. If you got rid of somebody, they can do what? Close down, lose their channel, reinvent themselves as a new channel, and come back here and do whatever they would continue their assault on folks. We've seen that happen all the time around here. People do that all the time. They close down their current account, or it gets closed down for them. They start a new account and they approach you in a new way in a new account. Happens all the time here on the YouTube. It happens all the time here in social spaces that you're in. The question right now is, how do you protect oneself. And I think it's by casting out the negativity. So I'm arming myself a different way. I've seen another channel holder do that in this environment with this particular cohort of people, both channel holders and subscribers. I watched somebody go get her Bible and chase y'all away. And I plan on doing the same darn thing, but from a different perspective, hoping that it brings knowledge and insight along the way. But it is what it is. It's unfortunate that we are where we are at in these events, but we are now also in the 8th month of the year. We got 2 quarters down. We're in our 3rd quarter, and we're in the middle of the 3rd quarter. So we still got some ways to go in what we're doing, but the agents of Satan are visible. They are visible. You understand who they are, what they are. You know what it is you're hiding from. Or it's not even hiding from anymore, actually. Is you know who you are afraid of here on this. When I've dubbed people as being terrorists on here, it's because they have engaged in an assault that it is to the level that people are fearful of becoming the next victim. So they are acting outside of their normal behavior because they don't want to become the next victim. That is unfortunate that in social space that this is how you must feel. This is how you must actually breathe around here, to live around here. I hope that when you come to Mo Knows, that it doesn't feel like that type of environment at all. And that I don't engage in that type of behavior. The people that have the people know who they are, and that's just basically it. And when you get to the point that you take off their mask and you are revealing who they really are, the question becomes on you. Do you continue to participate with that type of energy? Because that's what you've identified at. You've identified it as an energy that you know is present. But what do you do when you've identified that energy? And that's what this new conversation that I'm engaging in this week is all about. Who's your real enemy? I think personally, I'm at the point right now that I think our high schoolers are more mature than the adults that are in this grouping. I believe that in this grouping, people were not, as youngsters, did not process their issues, their problems. They didn't have any way to process those things. And without proper support in your younger years, processing conflict, in your older years, you can't process it because you never had anybody help you navigate those things. And as an adult, you can't comprehend. And then many people here do more talking than they do listening. And when they are listening, it's to an extent till they could speak, because that's all they want to do. So they're not even listening at what you're saying. They're just hoping that you stop saying whatever you're saying so they can get out the next point that they was going to make. And it's not effect, so we don't know how to effectively communicate. We don't understand conversation and what conversation looks like. Um, what it means to have a conversation and really engage in a conversation. And we don't know how to resolve conflict. That's why on our streets, we got people shooting each other and killing each other instead of being able to work out whatever their differences are. And the way you can tell that is when you hear about road rage. And you get to an extent, somebody cut you off that it was that damn serious that you needed to go follow them down the road and hark at them. And then one feels the need, like it is so crazy, our inability to process conflict. And that the only way that one can do this effectively is through fear mongering. Oh, I'm going to expose you. And then you got the other group that is doing the exposing but want to do it clandestinely. Don't want to be outed for being the source. Why are we doing this in the first place? Anyway, those are questions for you guys. I don't plan on opining on this topic anymore. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just so over it. Everything in this social space right now is for clicks and views. And you got somebody over there talking about they got a whole channel called The View. Like they doing a whole series called The View. I heard something funny yesterday. I don't know if it's real or not. There's going to be a counter view from a man's perspective. I should have wrote it down in my head last night because I definitely had a whole counter for a female's perspective on this whole view thing. But like I said, I really don't know what The View stood for. I don't know what their content was supposed to be. I don't know anything. When I asked her, she said that they played a game. And I could see playing a game because I remember when the other lady created a game. She liked to create games. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what the show is about. So I can't opine on something. I don't know what it's about. And I'm not interested in it. But I'm not telling you not to be interested in it. And I'm not saying that down the line it won't become of an interest because it might become of a talking point that my audience might need to hear my opine on it. But that's again based on my audience. If my audience changes the direction of the things they want to hear, then I will change the direction of what I'm producing here. But it's contingent on my audience because I am a monetized channel and I plan on capitalizing on that investment because I've put some work in here. Anyway, today, questions, comments, concerns out of the chat. I'll give y'all a moment to sort through any questions, comments, or concerns for Momo based on the Monday morning quarterbacking. If you're watching this in replay, please put your questions, comments, or concerns in the comment area. And if it's personal, it doesn't. All my comments are held for review. Start out your thing between you and I, and then I won't post it, but I will answer you between you and I. I'll come back up here and I'll give it to you, or I'll give it to you an answer, because I don't think I can answer without accepting the comment. But you can also just say, I don't want this publicly posted, Mo, but I had this question for you. in the comment area of the video, and then I will respond. I'll figure out a way how to get back at you. Because all the comments are held for review, and that will be until further notice. I'm reviewing comments because you people are rude. It's so much disrespect out here that it ain't even funny. Which comment did I held of yours? I think I deleted something of yours, lady. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm a little bit. Let me see one. Let me see. I'm still waiting. We haven't decided on our next movie. I did. What's the one? But it's on. All right. Let me ask this question first. Do you have HBO? The HBO Max? That's for you and Glib. I think there was something of yours I removed from the comment area though. Cause I'm vaguely remembering it, and I'm thinking that that's what I did. Go Momo, stronger every day. Keep pulling me back, so I have to do what I gotta do. Blame Donkey. Okay. Oh, no, I haven't seen these yet. That's why. They were 6 hours ago. Yeah, I haven't read these yet. I cannot believe. And no, I don't have HBO. All right. So I know that. All right. It's okay. We won't be doing that. Oh, I watched a video, The Voyeurs, last night. It was surprisingly good. Where was it on? Where was the Voyeurs on? No, I gotta watch Glib's stuff, right? Because he'll have us down. Like he had me reading some book, this 19 something something project. I went to go read that. I was like, I don't want to have to read a book that I gotta go get another book to be doing like cross referencing facts about. Like I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be doing history lessons on top of stuff. Once again, I think I would be able to find it though. Amazon Prime. All right, you still on Amazon Prime? All right, I haven't been on Amazon Prime again to look at something. I know I'm going to take a detour from y'all because remember TD Jakes did this movie. Let me see if it's in my queue. I know it's on HBO. I remember watching it, but I don't remember it. So I'll get to your comments today and see if I'm gonna post them. They're long, so I don't want to read them right now. But yeah, they came in 6 hours ago. I hadn't been on here at that point. What's that movie? There was one. It has to do with a husband and wife. TD Jakes. Let me see. Movies. No, it's not seven Deadly Sins. Let me see which one it is. It's one of them. It has to do with marriage and oh, not easily broken. I wanted to rewatch that. Oh, that one's good too. Woman, thou art loose. Yeah, I like that. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember the movie. And it's not easily broken. I think it came out the year that Cheek passed away. So I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that again. Um, what is this? A seven deadly sin story and greed. You know that YouTube has some movies that are free over there to watch? Oh, wait a minute. He got a new movie. Wait a second. From executive producers T.D. Jakes, Derek Williams, and Sean Robinson. The next two, wait a minute. I don't want to air that. Let me see. He's got a new movie out. Hold up. Bishop T.D. Jakes says this is the most the most crippling sin society is dealing with today. His upcoming Lifetime films, Wrath, a seven deadly sin story, and Greed, a seven. All right, so Wrath is, wait a second. Wrath is a seven deadly sin story, and then there's Greed is a seven deadly sin story, debut on the network on April. So this was April this year. Might have to check this out. But YouTube got movies. They got a trailer on this. All of us can go look at the trailer. I'll probably share the trailer and see if it's something we might be interested in. I'll check out Glib's movie that he put up there. Fun fact, did you know that Babyface Edmonds wrote Tevin Campbell's Can We Talk? Yeah. Yeah, they was the people. It was either Babyface or LA. Yeah, LA Reid and Babyface, right? They were the ones writing. It's funny you should mention Babyface because I was listening to some music recently in my car from my old playlist, and Babyface got a lot of stuff he wrote that is like, if you're breaking up with somebody, those are the worst songs to listen to, but they're the best inspiring songs. Seven deadly sins. So one of them is wrath and the other one is greed. So I guess he's gonna have 7 films come out of it. All right, I'm gonna look at it. It looks like it might be on Amazon also. So I don't know if it's gonna be on Prime, but I'll look and see. Um, it says it's a Lifetime. Yeah, it says Lifetime green lights the next 2 movies from T.D. Jakes' Seven Deadly Sins. On the heels of last year's popular Lust and Envy movies, seen by over 9.4 million viewers. Oh boy, this is based on a series of books. Wait a second. Because you know I'd rather read the book first before I see a movie. Based on a series of books by Victoria Christopher Murray. Wrath. A 7 day. Hold on, my daughter's texting me. Okay. Okay. What time? Hold on a second, cause I don't understand why people in text messages. Okay. So that movie we reviewing one more time called what? I don't know what we're doing. I'm looking at it because now it looks like it's a book, and I prefer to read a book before I see a movie first. Okay. All right. So, oh, somebody was talking crap. Oh, I know what somebody was talking. Somebody was talking about Beyonce and the this is crazy. So apparently, the Destiny's Child chick Michelle Williams is in this movie, Wrath, a Seven Deadly Sin story. Um, Tina knows something. Profiled the black man, Romeo Miller. Is Romeo's last name Miller? Romeo like the. I don't really like him, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna like that. Lisa Ray, he can't find no other actors. I don't know about this, but it's got Eric Benet in there. Okay, so the Wrath of Seven Deadly Sins story aired on April 16th after single lawyer Jeffries meets Xavier somebody. He seems to be everything she is looking for in a partner: handsome, smart, and a lawyer as well. As his affection turns to obsession, Chastity really, yeah, relieves relieves that should be believes. Uh-oh, did you say Jesus? What did you do? Yeah, I thought Romeo was Masterpiece son. They got some stuff going on in that family with the passing of his daughter, and turns to her former childhood boyfriend. But in the end, it is Chastity that will have to fight to save herself. Ooh, wait a second. I missed what happened to Chastity. Chastity relieves and abandons her principles. Oh, wait a minute. Relieves that she has been swept up by Xavier's passion and abandoned her principles. When Xavier's, or Javier's, uh, jealousy and wrath lead to suspicious actions and dangerous threats, Chastity confides in her mother, which is Sarah, played by. I don't know why. I don't know what you said. I gotta look and see what you said. But it could be that you put a whole bunch of emojis in there, and I might have an emoji limit with him. But in the end, it's Chastity. So wait a second. So Chastity's mother, Sarah, is played by Tina Knowles Lawson. So I'm assuming that that's Beyonce's mother, and or somebody in the Beyonce family, and turns to her former childhood boyfriend, Roger Thompson, who's Romeo. But in the end, it is Chastity that will have to fight to save herself. Eh, eh, I don't know about that story. Let's go to Greed. Let's see what Greed's about. Um, so interior decorator Zuri, that I like that name, Zuri. Baby, baby thoughts. All right. Zuri Maxwell had it all: a career she adored, loving family and friends, and a good man in her life. But greed threatens to destroy everything when Zuri meets handsome benefactor and entrepreneur Godfrey. Godfrey. Okay. Okay, so she's in that movie. And his fabulously wealthy aunt, Miss Viv, who is Lisa Ray McCoy, so we know who she is. They have everything Zuri thinks she wants. As Godfrey romances her, she compromises the values and morals that should guide her in an effort to be part of a moneyed world she so desperately wants to be part of. Oh, she a gold digger. She ain't nothing but a gold digger. All right, I don't know. I don't know if these are, I don't know. What do y'all think? Think about it. Let me know next time. Let me know what y'all think. If you have any movie suggestions, let me know. Let me know. I'm willing to consider them. I just don't like to take in anything, and I'm doing more trying to watch what I take in emotionally, physically, or whatever. That ends the questions, comments, and concerns. Today's broadcast was brought to you by the M and the O. Mo. Y'all have a wonderful, productive day.